So for today's episode, I am joined by Gemma, Merna, former HOLLYOAKS actress, and I'm going to let Gemma actually introduce herself because we've only got an hour. So Gemma, introduce yourself.
So yeah, I'm Gemma. I'm an actress. I'm a life coach, a hypnotherapist, and a yoga teacher, and a PT.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot.
That's the reason why I asked you to do it.
Yeah, there is a lot.
So actress then.
Yeah.
Should we go from the beginning?
Yeah.
How did that all start?
Oh, that being an actress, I knew from day dot as a kid I was going to be an actress. I was a very extravagant child. I was just always different, and I kind of knew from such a young age that I was going to perform. And I was that kid, was like, I'm going to be on TV when I'm older. And people were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, you watch me, and I was like that. And then my mum and my dad really supported me so much and took me to every performance possible, every acting class, every singing class, dancing, because I started off as a singer, then got into dancing, and then got into acting. So I kind of was on stage at first, and then I wanted to make the transition into TV, which is very different in acting. So then I went back to kind of classes with an amazing acting coach, Mark Hudson. And yeah, he taught me how to take it all on TV, and yeah, the rest is history.
So aside from HOLLYOAKS, has there been any other programmes or what other stuff have you done?
I've done Doctors, I've just done Brassic recently as well. So yeah, when I left HOLLYOAKS, I did a musical as well. So I toured with that, got back on stage and sang, which I hadn't done for a long time, because when you're in a TV programme and you're playing the same character every day, you kind of morph in to
become the character.
Yeah. And that was, one of the reasons why I wanted to leave at the time. So I kind of wanted to find out who my true identity was.
Yeah.
Because I joined the show when I was 22, and I was 30 when I left the show.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a big chunk of my life. I was playing Carmel McQueen. So, and what happened was I loved the character, but everyone ended up speaking to me as I were her. And and then I just kind of felt that people didn't really know me. And 2 years before I left the show, I lost my dad very suddenly. He died of a heart attack overnight. And that was kind of the pivotal moment that I kind of went, whoa, am I happy? And do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I'm like so grateful for the job. And I know a lot of actors would be like cut the right arm off for it. And I was that actor, because when I got the show, I was so like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I kind of outgrown the character. I kind of outgrown the place. And I just kind of wanted to see what else I could do.
Do you think actually what happened with your dad kind of sparked that change in yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, because like, I think when someone passes away very close to you very suddenly, that you think you're going to have for the rest, you always think you're going to have your parents forever, don't you? And I think it kind of gave me oh my God, is this what life's about? Like you just work every single day, and you just retire and you drop dead. I was like, no, I've got to think about what's going on. And I remember the moment, like the day after he passed away, and I just kind of stopped and just seeing people walking by, traffic going by, and everyone just getting on with their life. And I was like, my dad's just died, So it kind of, I would say that was the thing that just made me really go, God, who am I? Who do I want to be? And how do I want to live my life?
I think there's a lot of people going through, for different reasons, a similar kind of thing at the minute.
I think COVID did that to a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%.
So when people were going through COVID and lockdown, I was like, I've been here, I've done this, totally get it. And that's kind of what I then created Mind and Wellness from, really, is because of my own, what's the word? Suffering, healing, you know what I mean? It is, it is. You have to go through the hard times to get to the better and to help others.
That was kind of my next question. Obviously, how do you go from being an actress in HOLLYOAKS for all that time into like, obviously now the yoga, the mindfulness. I know obviously you're a qualified hypnotherapist as well.
Yeah. So I left the show, and when my dad passed, I kind of got back into yoga. I did yoga when I was about 18, and before I joined the show, I was about to kind of go and do my teacher training because I just felt like so much peace when I was on my mat. I totally got the practice.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I absolutely love yoga. And so obviously I did the show for so many years. And then when my dad passed away, I just felt like I had nowhere really to go that I felt like I could show my emotion, because I was in an industry where it's like, you show weakness, you know, you're out.
Cutthroat, isn't it?
Yeah, you're out. Like, if you can't do the job, that's it, you're done. And I was really struggling. And I was just going in, putting this face on every single day and just getting the job done. And yeah, so I went back to yoga classes and to a teacher that I know. And I felt like at the end of class, I was like, God, I can have a cry and no one's judging me. Because I am an emotional person. I've always been the same. I've always cried quite easily, and I've always been told, don't cry, don't cry. So I've always been taught like it was a bad thing, when I realised, no, it's just, I'm very in touch with emotions and I can let them out if I want to. So yeah, I kind of got really back into yoga, and I was like, God, this is really helping me and making me kind of deal with this and get through it. And then when I left the show, she was like, oh, where I did my teacher training in Morocco, they're doing another teacher training. Why don't you just go on it? And I was like, I'd never even got a plane on my own. Like my husband always booked all the plane tickets and stuff like that. So I was like, this is big for me. And if you can imagine, like when we were in HOLLYOAKS, you just was with those people 24/7. It was really what's that the word? Institutionalized. Institutionalized. It was very much like that, because you only kind of trusted who you were with.
Yeah.
Because it's scary. Do you know what I mean? Being out of it. So so I was like, should I do this? And anyway, I did.
Yeah.
I booked my flight and I went to Morocco with 26 people I didn't know, and stayed in a house with them.
How long was there? It was a couple
2
of weeks.
Honestly, I look back now and I think...
And you didn't know anybody when you went over there?
Didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And I look back now and think, how did I do that?
It's funny because obviously I'm from a completely different background. My background's martial arts and fine, but at the same time, I kind of found fighting in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And found myself on a plane to Brazil. Couldn't speak the language, not knowing anyone. So I was kind of saying, like, obviously I've followed your story now and know more about it. And there was so many similarities. I was like, and I'm 39 now. And I'm like, I was 20.
Yeah.
And like, took that, basically done the same thing, jumped on a plane.
Yeah.
I hadn't been abroad much up until that point, not even on holiday.
Yeah.
And then found myself in Brazil with a load of people who I didn't know.
Really?
Barely spoke the same language.
How did you get on there?
I absolutely loved it.
Did you?
I just knew.
How long were you there for?
The first time I went, I went for a week with a couple of friends.
Yeah.
At that point, I'd done literally no martial arts training.
Yeah.
Met a few people over there. I got a couple of connections over there. Came home, trained for a week.
Yeah.
So I've probably done 2 weeks of martial arts.
Yeah.
It was actually submission wrestling at the time.
Oh, right.
And then found myself in Brazil for nearly 3 months.
Wow.
I just couldn't speak the language.
Yeah.
But similar to what you're saying, it was like the growth and the experience. And like when I look back now at 39, I'm thinking I was 20 when I done that. Yeah. You can kind of look at it now and you think, what was I thinking?
I actually think that. I remember my friends going, are you messing?
Are you crazy?
Like they were like, Gemma, you don't even have any friends outside of us. And you know what I mean? And I was like, I know, but I feel like I really have to do this it was like, I have to do this because I need to know how strong I am. Do you know what I mean? I think when I lost my dad, I was a bit like, okay, well, what if I lose like my mum? What if I lose my husband? Wow, I can't function on my own. And I feel like I needed to push myself to know that I am strong enough as an individual and I'll be all right no matter what. Like obviously heartbreak's going to happen to us all through our life, but I need to be strong enough to be able to deal with it because and kind of have some clarity in my mind around it to kind of like separate it a little bit and not let it take over me, because it did take over me.
Anything can happen kind of at any time. So essentially it's knowing that you're strong enough to deal with whatever whatever comes.
Us as individuals, that you're strong enough to be on your own and just get through anything. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking before, and you're saying over obviously being an actress and on a TV show where every single week you've got to show up.
Yeah.
And regardless, like I'd never even until this conversation now, I'm not a big TV fan.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the soap in probably since you were on HOLLYOAKS a long time ago. So
that's good. I like that.
But I do. If I'm honest, I don't watch much TV. I used to watch a bit of EastEnders and Coronation Street and HOLLYOAKS now and again.
Yeah.
But you're talking like a long time ago. But something I'd never actually even thought about is, you know, we might be having all of our down days and our bad weeks and our good weeks, but regardless, as an actress and being paid, like you're saying, it's a cutthroat industry. That's well known.
Yeah.
You've got to show up. No matter what.
You've got to literally be dying on the floor before they'll send you home. Like I know I've been, I was there like literally ill, and you're like, as long as you can get that takeout, it does not matter. You can literally be lay on the sofa in between, as long as you can just show up. And you have to show up. And yeah, like that, I think that's the hardest when you're going through like personal, like suffering, like grief, and then you've got to play obviously like a happy character as well. So it's kind of like you mask it for a long time. So I don't think I dealt with the grief for like 2 years. I kind of put it to one side, and then you've got to deal with that sort of stuff. So yeah, no, it is. And it's an amazing career. It's an amazing job. And like even now I look at myself as a person and the growth I've had as a person, which makes me a better actor. Like I didn't want to act for a long time, but now I can't wait to get like that great part where I can bring what I've learned and put that in a conversation and put that on screen so people can feel it. Because when you're watching TV, the best scenes are the conversations that people have between each other and the conscious listening and the emotions that come through that. I think that's what people connect with. That's why people do like TV so much.
Yeah. But what I can understand now is obviously the things which you're practicing and you've studied for so long now, how they can help you now detach from being that person. So it's like you can be that person when you need to be that person.
I didn't have that, and you're so right by saying that, because I didn't have that detach. Like if I finished on set, then I'd be on a red carpet, and I just was going. Where now, I was playing a part like Carmel, and then I was playing a part on the red carpet.
When you wasn't on set.
When I wasn't on set, and then I was just me at home who just loves being in pajamas with my dogs and having a cup of tea, you know. But I never shown that part because I was like, oh, that's not good enough, because it's not all in, you know, glam and stuff like that. But I didn't know how to switch off from the job, where now I do. Because of yoga, because of meditation, because of hypnosis, you know, all that sort of stuff. I know how to switch off.
But we're not just seeing that in the likes of acting. That's in people's day-to-day lives, isn't it? People get anxiousness of a weekend.
Exactly.
Because they're so busy through the week. And like, these are things I've experienced myself. But that's where I can definitely say the meditation, the mindfulness, just connecting with myself.
It does,
has helped me massively, because you know, just understand like when to actually be with the family when you're with the family, and not be in work when you're with the family, and vice versa. So
I agree with that, and being present. And
which
really conscious listening to people, because when I went through my life coaching qualification, we did a whole module on conscious listening. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever listened like this in my life. And it's something I think they should teach in school, because now when I speak to people and they're not listening to me because they're doing something else or they're thinking of something, I can see it, where it's so important to be listening to the other person when you're having a conversation. So you are right with that. It's like meditation, and it makes you let go of that day. That's what I try and do at the end of the day now, is try and let go of the day, so then I'm not bleeding that into my personal life and talking about it. Because the more we talk about things that might not have gone great in the day, the more that energy is in our body, and we're feeling it, and then we're passing that out.
You've got to become more conscious, haven't you, to be able to do that? And that's what the meditation practice and these different tools help you become more conscious. So you are aware when I'm repeating all these things that you've gone on through the day, but now's not the time. It's time to like detach from that and you know, bring a bit of peace into my life instead.
Totally. And that's what I try and teach at Mind and Wellness. And I like how you call it tools, because I say we've got to you've got to create your own toolbox. What works for you? Like some people, it can be going to the gym or going for a run. It doesn't have to just be meditation or yoga. It's like, it can be absolutely anything.
Yeah, taking the dog for a walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I always say, create your own little toolbox and pick out what you need on certain days or certain times.
Yeah, it's
Because
definitely not a one size fits all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some days it's not meditation, and some days it's not yoga, and some days it is, oh, I've got to get out of here and go for a run. You know what I mean? It can be like that, but then some days I've not got the energy for that, so I'm just going to move my body slowly.
Sometimes it's okay to get in front of the telly with a bit of chocolate in
Exactly.
at the same time, isn't it?
Exactly. Like, again, that's another thing, isn't it? Like, I've heard this a lot as like, oh, don't go down the rabbit hole of Netflix and stuff like that. But actually, for me as a performer, I love watching other people perform.
Yeah.
I did at the weekend. I watched Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's a book. Reese Witherspoon started this book club, and it's a book by Taylor Jenkins, and they've put it into a TV program. It was the best piece of TV I've ever watched in my life, and I was like that engrossed in it, and I was like, this is mine. Sometimes I need this because then it gives me inspiration for acting and to perform.
And that's obviously a big passion of yours
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah. So again, it's just like, you know what I mean? But I could listen to people go, oh, don't do that because that's bad for you. So what I try and say is find what works for you. Not everything is the same for everybody.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, yeah.
We're going to go back to your mum and dad then.
Yeah, go on.
So obviously, what was their background? What did your mum and dad do?
So my dad had a newsagent in Cheetham Mill in Manchester for over 30 years with my grandparents. So yeah, he was very well known, the Merna's newsagents. And my mum was a stay-at-home mum for us. She worked obviously in the newsagents, looked after me. I've got an older sister and an older brother as well. So my mum and dad literally devoted their whole life to three of us, and just did everything they could to give us the best start in life.
Yeah.
Like absolutely everything. Yeah, they did.
And obviously, how do you think you'd end up into the, being a performer?
My mother, she's a pushy mother. I'm only laughing, she'll literally kill me for saying that.
Sometimes you need that sometimes.
Yeah, you know what, you do. And she's just, I don't know, I think when I was younger, I started singing, and I had a best friend, and her mum was my mum's best friend. And she was like, Gemma can sing, like at school or nursery. And then mum was like, do you think? And then that's how it started. It was a bit like, okay, well, let's take her to singing lessons. And then, okay, let's take her to dancing. And then I was a bit shy, and my brother was more into acting, and I was actually a bit shy. So I think they kind of did it in that way to get me going. And then once I started going to these acting classes, then I started to be like this real extrovert child. Yeah. But what happened to me was when I was 7, I got diagnosed with dyslexia. And it really, it gave me a label that then I felt I wasn't good enough to do anything because I wasn't clever enough, because I couldn't read, I couldn't write. So that held me back for many, many, many years. And it's only really since I did my life coaching that I kind of realised that it was a limited belief, because we speak so much about limited beliefs. It was a limited belief that I was holding myself back, going, oh, you can't do this because you're not clever enough, or you can't read that. And now I'm very much like, if I make a mistake on a word or whatever, I go, oh, I'm dyslexic. It's just what it is. Or my spelling's not great. So it's fine. And I use it more as like my superpower now, and I think this is why I've done so many qualifications, because I never thought I was clever enough to like go to university or anything. And then I've gone on to do like my yoga, meditation, life coaching, hypnotherapist now. And I'm like, I actually am. And if I'd have had that belief back then, I maybe would have gone to university. Like, I'm obsessed with people. Like, I would love to do a psychology degree. But yeah, I think I like dulled myself down and didn't use my whole potential because of this limited belief, because of the label of dyslexia. But what it did do, it threw me into being creative and being an actor. And like, my memory's really good. Like, my short-term memory's amazing. So it was easy for me to like remember lines. And like, if on the show they were like, right, today we've changed all those scenes on you. Like, here's the new scenes. We're filming in 20 minutes. I could go, okay, and just do it. You know what I mean? So it gave me like real great ability in that way. But it's something I have to really work at. Like I have to read every single day to be better at reading, to read out loud.
How do you find reading now?
I find it hard. It's one of those things that I could easily go, don't do it, in my head. Oh, don't do it. You don't need to do it. But then I have to push through and go, okay, even if I just read 5 pages every night, because I find it makes my brain better and it makes my speech better. And I use better words as well.
Yeah.
So it's a real challenge for me because the old me is going, my subconscious mind's going, no, what are you doing? That. Yeah, we've kept you safe for so long, but you never get better at anything if you don't practice. So that's what I try and do now. And I've just recently got these glasses because you can get coloured sort of glasses that help you so the words don't move on the page.
Okay.
So I went to an optician and got these glasses and it's amazing. I'm literally like reading so fast, which I've never been able to do because usually a page for me takes me ages and I might have to go back. But yeah, this coloured glasses really help with me reading better.
I'll have to have a look at them because I've got a daughter who's 7 and she loves acting.
Yeah.
She's absolutely obsessed with dancing.
Yeah.
Very, very, very creative.
Yeah.
And intelligent too in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But she struggles with her reading.
Yeah.
And she struggles with her writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, again, I'm just listening to...
They're great. And when I spoke to the optician about it, because they're not just for dyslexia, they're for like eye stress. And when I spoke to the optician about it, it was like, some people think they don't work, but he said, we've had so many people from the schools around the area and the parents have come in and gone, oh my God, they've got through an exam. What it does, it helps with focus so you're not distracted as much with like light and stuff. So I think they really would help.
I definitely have to have a look at them. As you say, it's like, I know with the schooling system in general, something I speak about quite a lot. Yeah. It's designed for... Basically, if you're not,
it wasn't designed for me.
If you're not academically intelligent, if you're not good at maths and English, then you don't stand any hope of like achieving.
I hated school. Hated it because I just felt every day I just struggled. So I'd come home crying every single day. But once I got to high school, I had a great music teacher, and I suffer really bad with getting really nervous, getting on stage.
You still suffer with that now?
That's why I had hypnotherapy originally.
Was it?
Yeah, so I'll take you back to school. So I used to really suffer. I shake because I'd get that nervous. And I had this great music teacher and he used to just get me up singing. He was like, you doing this performance? And my mum, bless her, she'd always be sat in the front row and she'd always smile at me because I'd be like, am I doing okay? You know what I mean? And she'd have to smile at me and I'd go, okay, I know I'm doing a good job. And then I could carry on. And it's heartbreaking when I look back now because I think, God, when you've got a talent like that, you should be able to just do it. But sometimes nerves, they take over. And then cut to when I started doing hypnotherapy. When I left the show, I realised I couldn't step back on stage because I'd gone through so much. I was so nervous. I couldn't even step on stage and sing anymore. Like, I couldn't bear to do it. So that's why I started having hypnotherapy. And a couple of weeks later, I stepped on stage and sang again. And it was the best feeling ever. And that's what made me go, this works. And I know
Would you like to talk about hypnotherapy a little bit and kind of explain to people? Because I know there's definitely a misconception of what it is. People go and get hypnotised once to stop a bad habit, which they've done for 20, 30 years. It doesn't work. And they say, that doesn't work. It's a load of rubbish.
Well, that's the first thing. Like any client that comes to me, I say, if you want a one session, I'm not your hypnotherapist. It's not me. At least, I 6 to 12, but most of my clients take 12 sessions to start off with and then maintain it because we're working with the subconscious mind, and this subconscious mind, we've been running on these programs that we have been built from between 1 and 7. Yeah. So when we're kids, we took all these programs in from our parents, from our next door neighbor, our grandparents, people at school, teachers, and we're running on these programs and they're like CDs and it's just like the same program. Like that for me.
Software, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't need to read, don't read, you can't do it, you can't do it, but you have to change it. And with coaching, you can change these things, but generally it comes back. It can come back and then you've got to use the conscious mind to push through. Now with hypnotherapy, what we do, and I think the reason why it worked for me, because it's just like a meditation with a goal. That's it.
Yeah.
So my goal was to get on stage and be able to sing. So the conscious mind, the overthinking mind of, oh, you can't do that, you're not good enough, you know, are you going to hit a bum note? That's switched off.
Yeah.
As soon as you go into the theta brainwave and you're that relaxed.
You find your flow, don't you?
Exactly. So you're so nice and relaxed. Then the hypnotherapist speaks directly to the subconscious mind. So things come up and you just say them. You can hold back. And this is another thing that I always like to say to my clients is, I don't have control of your mind. You will speak back to me. You can speak back, or you don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just have that conversation in your own mind. But you will, like, naturally, it'll just come up. So when I remember doing it for singing, it was one performance when I was younger and I hit a bum note, and that had stopped me from, over time, it just built up, and it stopped me from then getting on stage. So what we did, we went back to that moment, we visualized it, we call it the source. So we went back to the source. I went in as the adult into the inner child, told the inner child myself, everything's fine. It was just a bum note. Doesn't really matter. Just let it go.
Change the script.
Change the program. So that's what hypnotherapy is. And I wish people understood it a lot more, because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It is so powerful. And yeah, that's why I wanted to train in it. So yeah.
Obviously the mind, again, pretty much similar to you. I'm obsessed with
Obsessive
the mind,
mind,
why we behave, the way we behave. And totally get that the first 7 years we basically create and design a program, which we play out then for, you know, basically for the rest of our lives, isn't it? Unless something happens, like maybe what's happened to you with your dad, or, you know, a lot of the time it takes a trauma or a really a big experience.
It does.
To actually make you have a look at yourself. And, you know.
It's that mirror back to yourself, because we can go through life, can't we, and think it's everybody else's fault and things aren't working for us and be victim. But actually, when you look back and go, well, actually, how did I behave in that situation, or could I have done any more? That's when I think this sort of work happens.
You start to hold yourself accountable, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the hardest step. It's the hardest step, to owning up to yourself that you're creating your own problems.
But I think once you actually take ownership of these things, you start to take the blame yourself.
Yeah, it's easy then.
It actually gives you the power then to change something, where if you're blaming everybody else and everyone else's fault, and like, I know it can sound harsh to people, like, once you fall into that victim mindset, it's like you give all your power away to change anything.
Totally. And the thing is, the only thing we can control is what we think and how we react. We can't control other people. We can't control situations. So once you start just letting that go, I just think you live such a nicer life.
More peace.
Oh, so much more peace. So yeah.
So the yoga then, obviously you went to was it Morocco?
Morocco,
It wasn't Bali, was it? It was Morocco.
No, Morocco.
I know a lot of people go to Bali as well.
Yeah.
So what was that like over there?
It was amazing. It was very intense. And I don't think I really understood the practice as much as I do now back then.
Yeah.
Because I just did yoga because it made me feel better, and I felt better at the end of the practice, and I felt like I could kind of be me. I was allowed to be me. But yeah, once I got over there, and it was 2 weeks, like I said, it was really intense to get through everything in such a cramped amount of time. I realised that, I think what it was, and I'll be really honest here, when I moved out of the acting world, I thought, oh, I'm just going to go on this yoga journey, and I'll meet all these yogis who
do a bit of down
are
dogging.
just going to be so lovely to me, and they're going to be so nice. And, you know, because the acting world's such cutthroat. Honestly, I got out there and basically everyone's the same, aren't they? You know what I mean? I was a bit like, actually, there's still people that aren't the kindest in yoga as well. I remember having a teacher that made me cry when I was over there. And I was like, oh, okay. Everyone's the same. It's the way I deal with it now. You know what I mean? So it was a real big eye opener to the world, that not everyone has to be your best friend. Not everyone has to like you. You don't have to please everybody. I think I had a lot of that in me, that people pleasing, and just be you a little bit. So yeah, it was.
Which is a superpower in itself, isn't it, these days?
Totally. And this is what I speak to all my coaching clients about, is be you. If people don't like you for it, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
I always remember Ricky Whittle, who played my husband on Hollyoaks for many, many years. And I remember him saying this to me when we used to work together. And I'd be like, huh? No. And he was like, it's none of my business what people think of me. I'm just me. And I was like, no, you've got to get everyone to like you. This was me back in my 20s.
Yeah.
And he's gone on to have the most incredible career over in America because of that mindset. And it's only like past few years where I've got that mindset and I'm like, God, that is so much peace for yourself. Because it's none of my business what other people think of me. I don't have to please everybody.
Mm. And at the same time, I think when people realise that and they see it's authentic, it kind of magnetises people to people want.
Yeah.
Because everyone's kind of looking for that individuality, so to say.
Yeah.
You know, people are desperate to just kind of express themselves.
Totally.
And be themselves. And as you were saying before, that we get this ego and we play the part. And you
Play
kind
the
of lose
part.
yourself, don't you? And for me, that's a massive part of why there's so much sadness. I know, being real, sadness and depression, people are just actually disconnected from who they really are. They don't express themselves. And you know,
I agree. I think obviously we're in a world where there's a lot of, it's easy to pretend, isn't it, and put these masks on and be these characters in a way. You know, I've been guilty of it myself, and I think once we do strip that back, and that was something that I really wanted to do, was find out who I was, what do I like, what do I want to do, and once I did that, I think that's where literally everything changed for me.
Yeah, I had some New Year's resolutions. It was like learn to play a musical instrument.
What are you going to play?
To be honest, I bought this little drum off Amazon and me and my little girl have been playing it.
Brilliant.
It's like a little, I forgot what it's called. You'll have seen them. It's like what they do, they use them in
like
I forgot what they're called.
Bongo.
No, it's not a bongo. No, I forgot the name for it. It's literally just a little red drum like this. But I had goals like, I want to learn to play the piano and I want to start doing a bit more art. I used to love drawing and things like that when I was younger. And we kind of move away from these things. I used to get up early in the morning. Be drawing all kinds of pictures and I know when I look back, they're the things what I enjoy, but at the same time, you get to an age where, and you're in certain environments where you can't really do them things. It's not cool, and so you kind of come away from them. Now I'm at an age where, as I'm getting more comfortable with myself, I'm like, I want to go back and have a go with that.
Exactly.
I haven't got many hobbies, I'll be honest. I'm really passionate about understanding human behaviour, and a lot of these things, I take them a bit too serious at times.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, because that is something that we always look at in coaching. So we look at 8 aspects of your life that you want to work on at one time when you're working with a coach. And one of them can be hobbies. And it was actually a client that I had. She really wanted to work on her hobbies. And I was like, and when I seen her next, I was like, thank you for that. I said, because I realised I don't actually have any hobbies, because every hobby I've had, I've created it into a job.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing things that I really enjoy to do. And then talking about singing, I was like, I've not done singing lessons really since like before COVID, because everything kind of stopped. So I was like, I really love to sing. I love that music. I love it going through my body. You know, it's energy and stuff. And I said to her, I said, thank you, because it made me realise that that's something that I need to put more of my hobbies in my life than just work.
Yeah, I know that. I have this little funny thing in relation to singing. I thought there'll be amazing singers out there, men, who's just always been too scared to sing.
Yeah.
I'm a crap singer. Don't get me wrong, I can't sing to save my life. But at the same time, I know, like, even if I could sing, now I'd be absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
But I know, like, if you're talking maybe 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, it wouldn't matter how good a singer I was. I wouldn't dream of standing on. I'd go and have a fight or whatever else.
Yeah.
Even then, I'd really struggle with nerves and stuff. But I'd do it.
Yeah.
But if it was like go and stand on a stage and sing, not in a million years, you wouldn't get me up there.
It's one of those things, singing. It's like if you keep doing it, it gets easier. But once you stop, that first step back on is just...
It's like ring rust, isn't it, really, for like an athlete or...
Yeah. It is, but it's the same. It's the same with acting. Like when I went to do Brassic, because I've not done anything for ages. I was like, turned up with my script all highlighted, all like memorized everything perfect
prepared.
and stuff. And then they went, "Oh, we're just going to forget these lines. Let's just improvise this bit because we're just walking into the scene." I remember standing there going, "Oh my God." Where that years ago when I was on Hollyoaks, I'd have been like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no
Cool,
problems," because I do it every day. But because I hadn't done it for ages, I was like, what do you want me to do then? And I thought, God, you're panicking. Stop panicking. Just relax. And then once I relaxed and just got into it and was like, yeah, it's a conversation. There's like two people there. There's me and the guy who's playing my husband. We're having a conversation with them and we're doing that. And then once I kind of got into it and then started like improvising bits, I had the best time. And it's the same thing. We can
take things too serious.
We can overthink so much in our mind. So it's about getting out of our mind, sometimes getting into our body. That's what I think yoga teaches you.
Yeah.
Get out your mind and get into your body.
The other thing with yoga though, because obviously I've got a lot of friends who are athletes and stuff like that, fighters especially. Yeah. And I know some of the toughest sessions they've done have been yoga sessions. Like, heavy like
tough,
Bikram sessions. And like some of them be the first to say, we won't do pads and spar and all these other things. What I've just done on that mat in the last 90 minutes is like,
it's
up
tough.
there with the hardest things I've ever done.
Because you're moving your whole body, but you also, it's that coordination, but then you've also got to connect that to the breath as well. I always go back to yoga. Like I will train, I'll do weights, I'll do Pilates, I'll swim and everything, but yoga's like feeling like I'm at home as soon as I get onto my mat. It's just like this part where I feel like I'm really connected to myself and really grounded. I just love it. It is the best thing. I meditate
every day, if I'm honest. I've actually got a studio and we do loads of yoga.
Yeah.
My partner's studio is an amazing yoga teacher, Diane. But I do most of mine like 20 minutes at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll try and get in the studio maybe once a week. Yeah. Twice at a push now and again.
That's why I created Mind and Wellness, because all our videos are between like 5 to 30 minutes is the max because we're kind of that business where it's like it's a step into it. So anybody like myself who is maybe going through a really tough time, or someone just going, you know what, I just need to find a bit of switch off. It's literally on hand. It's like you can, click a video on and you can do it at home.
Yeah.
And you're practicing yoga, you're doing your meditations. We have Pilates on there and everything like that. And that's what I wanted to create, because sometimes going into a studio, it can be really intimidating for people. Yeah. It really can. And that's the thing. It's that step into that room. Some people, it might take them years. They might never do it because they're like, oh, I'm never going to be that good. It can
definitely help people prepare, can't it? Learning the basics and doing stuff at home before.
Totally.
Like our studio was like our yoga classes. There's more men than there is women. Yeah. And that's kind of been my intention with trying to make all these. I've been practicing these for like yoga. I walked into the first yoga studio maybe 13 years ago. And the teacher who I walked into now, she's actually my business partner on Awaken. Like I've only ever I've done yoga in different studios and places, but she's been the main, like she's been there from day one. That's the first yoga class I ever done.
Yeah.
And I think back to then I was like big lad, lifted loads of weights. Actually at the bar in the city centre, and me and my partner at the time were just walking past this yoga studio. I'm like, should we go in there and have a go with that? And I remember going in like Diane, my partners were actually laughing at me because I couldn't get my arms, but I'm still not very flexible upper body, but my legs, I can get them pretty much.
Gets there though, doesn't it? It just takes time.
But it's the same as anything. Yeah, it's just practice.
And the thing is with yoga, what I think it taught me a lot was, once you master one posture, there's another posture. So it kind of makes me realise, like I always relate it to life, like you're never perfect. Because I had this whole thing of perfectionism when I was on the show, like I've got to be perfect.
I was going to come on to that because that's definitely, we'll speak about that in a bit more detail.
Perfectionism is just things. So I always find yoga really helps with that, because like, you master a posture, but then there's something else to be doing. So you're always learning, you're always moving forward.
Yeah.
And you're always a beginner.
But it's got similarities to martial arts. It's the first time you go onto a mat and everyone can grapple or box. Yeah. Like you get a big ego check. And for me, it was exactly the same walking into a yoga studio, seeing like men, women a lot older than me to look at. They didn't look anywhere near in the same kind of physical shape. But the things they could do in comparison to me, and what I really struggled with, like I'd be in down dogging like I'd be wanting to tap out, like
Yeah.
just collapse on the floor. And
Yeah.
you see like some woman in like,
Yeah.
you know, late 50s, 60 years of
Yeah.
age, she's just absolutely cool in that position.
know.
It's like,
It's like a little, I always think it's a little mental exercise with yourself though.
I find like the
can I
bridge
stay
between
there?
meditation and obviously combat
Yeah.
and like really resistance training.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've always found yoga is like that bridge between the two.
Yeah. No, definitely. Because the thing is with yoga, the reason why you did yoga was to tire the body out and the mind so you could go into meditation.
Yeah.
That's why it was like created. So when you are having those times, and I have that because obviously I meditate every day, but years ago I couldn't just meditate. I couldn't just go straight into a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, what? So I had to go through the whole journey of yoga into meditation to then go, oh, the mind. Like, God, what we can do with the mind if we start to learn how to work with it and sit and observe our thoughts and what to keep and what to let go.
Like it becomes the greatest tool
Massive.
you could ever have.
Yeah. Because then, you know how to show up in the world, you know, to be the best version of yourself, and you know how to react to certain things, and it's not just emotion making you react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going back onto perfectionism then, because again, said to you, didn't I? There was quite a lot of things where like I'd heard you speak about them and I could relate to it myself.
Yeah.
I massively struggled with perfectionism in terms of like fighting.
Yeah.
Every preparation had to be perfect. I didn't like the idea of going in with injuries and all these different things. And like obviously you spoke about it. How did it affect you?
Oh, it ended up, I think that's what really crippled me in the end, to be honest, because again, with singing, if I hit a bum note, oh no, that's terrible. I'm never going to sing again. I'm the worst singer ever. Well, actually, sometimes like not getting the note, you can find something else and it's a little bit of character to a song.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, it's got to be perfect. And then the same with acting. I had to remember every single word because I can see it photographically in my mind. Like when I'm doing a script, I can see the page in my mind and I kind of read off the page, you know, the script, if you understand. So if I forgot a word or I didn't get something in that I wanted to get in, I'd be so annoyed with myself. But then you lose that organic
you don't enjoy it, do you?
And you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then I had like perfectionism with like being on a red carpet, because I had this envision of what somebody should look like on a red carpet, and they have to be perfect and the dress has to be perfect, the hair, the makeup, everything.
And it's not just the pressure then you're putting on yourself, it's obviously trying to live up to everyone else or what you imagine everyone else's expectations are.
Exactly. And like now, and I think again, like I was, when I was on the show, I was going through grief. I was like, I can't show. I'm struggling here because that means I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so it came into that.
Coaching other people.
Yeah.
And like, pretty well known at the time. So I feel like it was the same.
Yeah.
The same for me. I felt like I couldn't I was struggling with nerves and I was getting anxiety and creating all of this for myself. Yeah. But not understanding that I was actually doing it at the time.
You doing it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. And all that builds up that anxiety and that the what if this goes wrong? What if I do that wrong? And I remember once like I wore a dress and like the tag was out slightly and I cried and I was just like, oh my God, it's a tag. No one's even noticed. But I was like on the picture. And then you realise that no one's perfect. The world's not perfect. And actually all your little quirks are what make you amazing. And so once I kind of started to let that go, I felt like I could breathe a little bit. So yeah, it's something I actually work on a lot with a lot of my clients.
But I think a nice thing is obviously you're from a completely different industry to me, totally different background. Yeah. But we all struggle with the same things. It doesn't matter whether you're an actress, whether you're an athlete, whether you own your own business, or we all kind of have the same
and I
struggles.
think it's nice that we open up and talk about it because, and this is why I created Mind and Wellness. I've said it time and time again. When I was at my worst, I remember asking a few people around me at the time within the industry and they're like, no, I'm fine, I'm perfect. And I was like, oh my God, is it just me? And then I realised that if we talk about it, and we have a safe space, which I do in Mind and Wellness. We have non-judgmental. Anyone can say what they want. They can talk to each other. We know we're not alone.
And have you found you've got that community now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, massively got that community. And I was just on, because we have like a monthly coaching call every month, and I was just on the call for this month, and we were having conversations, and one of the ladies was talking, and then one of the other members came in and had a chat to her and like perked her up and give her advice, and I just sat back and honestly, it made me tear up. I thought, God, I've created something incredible here. Well, we've created something incredible.
Obviously, I totally get what you like. We don't create nothing. We hold space for people, and we kind of be an example ourselves.
Yeah.
But did you ever have a time where you felt kind of lonely? And
oh, massively.
I know a lot of people who've gone through kind of the same process as what you have, and I have myself. It's like you do have times where you feel like you've got no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And a little bit different, and there's always that fear of being judged by people, and
oh yeah, because I was in a world where you just getting judged is just the normal. Yeah, if they're not judging something, then there's something wrong. And I think that's where I realized that I just couldn't be in that environment. And I was turning into a very judgmental person because I was around judgmental people.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at myself once and going, I don't actually like the person I've become here. I really don't like it. It's cutthroat. I'm trying to get a storyline, and we're all desperate for these storylines that we're walking over our friends. It's ridiculous. Expense, I was like, I don't want this. It's not worth it. It's not worth me changing myself to be somebody that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I had to walk away to become that person I wanted to be and know who I truly was.
Would you say you like yourself now?
Yeah, I really like myself. Now I say that all the time now. And years ago, I'd have been, honestly, when I was in school, I'd be going, oh, do you think you are saying that? You know what I mean? And honestly, those thoughts do still enter my head. But I have worked really hard on myself, and I know I'm a good person. I'd do anything for anyone. And I'm really pleased that I can say, yeah, I've worked that hard, that I do like the person.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that, is there?
There's nothing wrong with it. No. I like the person I've become, and I know that through more growth, I'll just become even better and better and better. And I'm excited for that. So, yeah.
And it hasn't been easy, has it?
No, not at all.
I can definitely,
yeah.
Definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
What's your future plans then?
So yeah, my future plans is to get Mind and Wellness out there to everybody, to, open the space up that people can join and know that there's a space for them, to get hypnosis out there, to make it mainstream, to get, coaching as well out there. Because I think in this country as well, people are like, what's a life coach? If you're in America, everyone has a life coach.
We're always
out there.
a good 5 years at least, aren't we? Maybe 10 behind.
So for me, it's getting that out there as much as possible to kind of get it mainstream. Like, because when I got a life coach and I would doing hypnotherapy, this is why I've become the version I've become, and I've launched a business and done all the things that I didn't think I was going to ever be able to do. And it's because I had that space and I had that support from my coach and hypnotherapist. So I'd love to do that for more people, obviously in Mind and Wellness. And yeah, I'd love to, with acting, get an amazing part where I can show this version of me within that part as well. I don't really want to play a character anymore.
Yeah.
I want to do a job where I'm more authentic, but it's just casting directors giving me a chance, because my whole career has been playing like a Carmel, a ditzy blonde. So yeah, it's just really casting directors taking a chance on you.
And in a sense, it's nice. It's obviously giving you the platform then to show the real you.
Yeah.
But you obviously worked hard to get to the place where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like I said before, I feel like if I given the opportunity and a great script, I know I'll do an amazing job, and hopefully people will relate to that. Because I feel like when people do watch shows and acting, again, I think people can relate to it and then maybe not feel alone as well.
I think there's a lot of inspiration in people who's obviously been in one industry for so long,
and
then just completely transitioned into something totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, I think a lot, for a lot of people, it's like they worry, we don't know where to go, where to start.
Yeah.
Or, like one of the most pivotal things which changed my life was jumping on a plane and doing so much. Now I look at it and even, I think, it took a lot of balls to do that at 20 years of age. It's not like me, like ego saying that. Me looking at it, being a different person now and looking back. And it's obviously being very similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I left the show and I was teaching yoga in studios around like Liverpool, Manchester, people were going, what's she doing?
She's lost the plot.
What's she doing teaching yoga? Like, I remember all the articles written about me, from actress to yoga teacher, like really diminishing it. And I was like, I'm happy. I am happy and I'm helping people. And I'm doing my other passion. Because I don't think you just have one passion in life. I think you have so many passions and you should be able to do a little bit of everything. You shouldn't have to just do one job for the rest of your life.
Before, when I was speaking about hobbies, because for me, I'm trying to find what are my passions. I know, I'm passionate about still martial arts, I love watching and, things like that. That'll always be a passion of mine. But now it's obviously understanding human behaviour, understanding why we behave, why we think, why we act the way we act, why.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm into quantum physics. I want to know everything about everything.
Yeah.
That's like, and that is a passion of mine.
Amazing.
But then these other things as well, like, is it music? Is it art? Is it, and these are hobbies.
Yeah.
Like we were speaking about before. Like I want to try and establish what are my hobbies? What do I enjoy doing just for the sake of doing it? Not with a purpose behind it or for a reason. Not so serious. It's like,
totally. It's just trying it out and seeing what feels right.
Yeah.
So that's again, like with coaching, that's what we would do is like just kind of go, right, let's make some actions, like do some artwork or, play some music and what feels right. What do you want to continue?
You've got to try them, haven't you, first?
Exactly.
To figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. And just see what feels right. I always go off a feeling, but that's just me.
What do you like to do outside of obviously work? I know a lot of these things work related. You enjoy them and you love them.
Yeah. So I have 4 dogs.
Yeah.
So love walking my dogs, love being with my dogs. They're basically like my therapy dogs. And to be honest, we've just got a German Shepherd. He's only 19 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've been doing training with him and he's so smart. I've never had a dog so smart.
They are smart, aren't they, German Shepherds?
I'm blown away with him. And like doing the training with him is like incredible. And I've always said, I'd love to work with animals, like when I'm older. Like obviously work with people now, but I'd love to take my work into animals. And I don't know how, but I'm actually going to do
dog hypnosis.
Well, I'm going to do my Reiki level 1 with a friend of mine. In the next couple of weeks, because one of our St. Bernards, we lost her about 5 months ago. She was blind for 2 years. And when she was struggling, I used to just like put my hands on her and just tell her that everything's fine. I was there for her and it just relaxed her down. And then if we was going out for a walk and there was steps, I'd just go, Paigey, step, and she'd step down or step up. And I'd get her around and we had her for another 2 years being fully blind and a big dog, she was nearly 50 kilograms. So, most people like vets was like, I can't believe you've kept her going this long. And, we had to have her put to sleep because just of old age, her legs. But I felt so much passion in helping her and animals. So my animals are massive in my life. Like I've always loved animals. So I do think ongoing something there's going to happen. And I love swimming as well. That's another hobby of mine. I'm a water sign, I'm an Aquarius. So it's like as soon as going water, I feel like I just kind of reset.
Yeah.
And I just get really grounded and stuff. So that's like another big hobby of mine that I really like. And the other one is singing. So that after we've had this chat today, that is something I need to kind of start. I just need to start putting it back in. Like I sing around the house. I literally have my dogs on my hips singing to them every single day. Whenever we've got builders in the house, they're like, oh my God, you're mental.
Yeah, well, I kind of reminded myself even in the conversation.
I just love it. I love singing to my dogs and tell them how much I love them every day anyway. But that's just like my thing, So they're like my hobbies and futures, just working working on mind and wellness with people, but eventually maybe doing
So
something
mind
with
and
animals.
wellness then, just obviously coming towards the end, but exactly what is mind and wellness? And
So mind and wellness is it's a platform for the mind and the wellness, because I wanted to connect the physical body and the mind together and make people understand about the mind, the scientific of the mind, of like meditation. We can change the shape of our brain just by meditating daily. So there was so much stuff out there, and I've done so much. I went into all this for more of a physical practice, for my body to look a certain way. And then I realized I didn't stay with things because it wasn't engaging me enough. And then once I learned about the mind and like how we can change the shape of our mind, and then I started moving my body so my mind felt better, that was just a little bit of an aha moment for me. And I was
no
like,
separation between
not at
the two.
all.
And that's the biggest misconception.
There's a big, in the industry, in the fitness industry, particularly, there's a massive separation. And people aren't listening to their minds.
It's changed a lot though, hasn't it? Especially COVID's obviously a big reason.
Yeah. I think it has. I when I worked as a PT, I had to kind of come out of the fitness industry because of that reason, because I was just like, I just don't get it, because there was such a separation. I was a little bit like, you should be doing things and movement for whatever makes you feel good. You shouldn't just do one type of training because
we did a class in
that.
a week, which basically designed, it was the first class which we ever kind of put on, and it's HIIT, yoga and meditation all within a 60-minute session.
Amazing.
And that's basically what it's for, to help people understand. And
that connection.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Because when I ran the marathon, I did it, I wasn't a runner. I started running in lockdown, and then I ran the marathon. And I did it for a mind.
You run the marathon?
Not last marathon, the marathon before. And I did it to see if I could actually do it. And it's basically my mind. It was an exercise for me to see how strong I was in my mind to kind of push through and do the marathon. And I did it. Because I always told myself I couldn't run. And then I ended up running the London Marathon. So
you tell yourself you can't.
Exactly.
You can't.
So it was, for me, it was a mind exercise. As I'm the same as you. I'm obsessed with the mind and how much we can push ourselves and what we are. We hold ourselves back so much.
You've got to look at not like from a conspiracist perspective, but the way not even just the media, the way the world's designed now, it's basically telling us what we can't do.
That's why I don't watch the news.
The same, obviously,
Don't watch the news. Don't engage with it.
If there's any advice what we give anyone today, it's turn that junk off.
Turn it off. I literally live in my own world and just keep pushing myself to be a better person every single day. So
in your bubble.
In my bubble. And that's the thing with mind and wellness. I kind of wanted to create this space where we could connect together, but also bring meditation to the forefront, because I know how much it helps, but people, when they hear the word meditation, goes, oh, I can't do that. I've tried that once. And when I sit there, my mind's racing. I'm like,
one of the hardest things to do, especially the way the world is designed currently, is to be still and to be at peace and to not have a million things going on in your mind all at once.
But we're there to say, that's normal.
It's You're the same as going to the gym the first day. It's hard.
Of course it is. You're going to have these thoughts. It's a meditation practice. So you've got to practice. And when these thoughts come in, acknowledge them and just let them float away. And I'm example, I always say to myself, like to my clients, sometimes I do meditations and I have gone through my to-do list or what I'm doing with shopping, and it's not probably the best, but I turn up again at the night time and do it again.
And it's no different to going to the gym. Sometimes you go, you're knackered and you'd have the worst workout ever, but you've just got to keep
showing up. So we on our platform, we have a membership, and within that membership, we have videos, pre-record meditations, yoga, Pilates, pre and postnatal, hypnosis now, sound healing, bar workouts.
And these all work. Like these all work. And I'm a man's man. As I say, we've got probably more men come to our studio, and that's been my purpose. With a
I think that's fantastic.
In the schools, just trying to encourage men to leave that ego at the door.
Well, with mind and wellness, we've just really kind of ended up having women, but it is open to men as well. This is the thing, but I don't know what it is, but most women have come in. But with that as well, I coach them.
We all have a niche, though, I believe, and my niche is men. So I'll try and attract men through practicing these things and doing these things myself, and even like kids, I coach 13 to 15-year-old kids in schools.
It's amazing that.
I can get young.
This is the thing with schools and meditation. If we can get meditation on the curriculum
It's
and
happening,
yoga,
yeah.
it would change people's, like, those kids will just grow up meditating daily and it's the norm for them.
I think the biggest thing for them, they'll actually start to become aware of how much potential you've got to do whatever and become whoever they want. Because again, it's all conditioning.
Yeah.
They go to school, they might get great grades because they're not interested in maths, English, science, geography, religious education, and they're taught that basically they're labelled. You're not going to go. The teachers actually say you're not going to go anywhere in life because you're not concentrating in a religious education class.
I know.
And like that as we say, the child will play that part then. And, and then.
Well, they get labels, don't they, from the teachers as well?
We know how powerful they are, don't we?
Totally. So yeah, that's kind of what I've tried to create. And part of Mind and Wellness as well is one-to-one coaching with me, one-to-one hypnotherapy. And now I want to start opening it up to doing retreats and wellness days and things like that to bring, that community all together as well.
And you live this is not something what like
oh no, I live it every single day. Every single day I live it. And the thing is with my members as well, it's really funny, we have this WhatsApp group and I am like touching distance to them. If they message me, I message them back straight away. We don't have any distance. Like every single person, I know everything about them and their life, and I'm there to support them. And that's what I've always said. And I always go back to the reason why I created this was when I felt alone and never wanted anyone else to feel like that. I wanted to have like a sisterhood.
You find that's very, very common. Not a lot of people go through the same thing, and that's their reason behind want to create these communities and support and help people. So.
And I just want women not to feel alone because, it's hard. People are working, they're married, they've got kids, they've got jobs, there's pressures, and I don't want people to feel anxious or
isolated.
Definitely. So that's what we've created and we love it and we have a right laugh as well. I always say, as long as you come to all the calls with a brew, we're all right.
I say if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then do something else.
Exactly.
You only get one opportunity. So
you only get one life, don't you?
Last couple of questions then. I always ask pretty much the same.
All right.
Success. What does success mean to you?
Happiness.
Well, that's my next question.
Go on.
What's happiness? The minute I say happy, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, my dogs and my family and my community and
Yeah, you wouldn't believe
having a
how
smile.
Not one single person I've asked this question in every podcast ever said anything like material or...
They've not.
It's always honest to God. It's always the same things. It's just
literally
the simple
pictures
things.
of my dog, my family, my husband, my mum, everyone like that. And my community.
And your community.
My community, because they mean so much to me.
Well, before we go, have you got a message or anything? Your favourite quote? A favourite quote?
Don't believe every stupid thing you think.
Okay.
Yeah,
definitely like that one.
Yeah, it's
and
a
a
good
message
one,
then for anyone watching.
Just, if you...
Even for your own community.
Honestly, just never feel alone. There's always someone out there to help you or who might be going through your story. So just always reach out to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you're a massive inspiration, pushing yourself, doing marathons, being able to go from one industry into something totally new.
Thank you.
Jumping on planes and
throwing
yourself in the deep end.
That really means a lot. Thank you.
It'll definitely help a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, thanks
that's
for saying
what we're
that.
here for. So
thank
you. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for having me
go,
on.
champ.
It's
Let's
amazing.
go, champ. Well done.
Thank you.